and welcome back to Coffee with the Wolves, presented by JJC Athletics. My name is Damien Dennis, and this week we're going to be talking men's soccer, and joining me is head coach Cris Trillo. Welcome back to the show, Chris.
Thank you, Damien, for inviting me again.
Yeah, technically the second time today because, as I was just telling you, we recorded outside and great weather.
Yep.
Fantastic weather today, but the bright sun, the wind, nice breeze, great for your practice is going on right now. Not great for the recording.
Okay, no problem. We can do it again.
Yeah. So, we're here to part two,
Sure.
sort of. No one will see part one, but
Okay.
we're going to catch up a little bit on the soccer season. But before we dive in, I want to announce to the people watching, listening, that look and feel of the show is going to change a little bit starting next week, including maybe a different location every couple of weeks or so, because we got a new sponsor for the show.
Nice.
Called Grounded Coffee Bar in New Lenox and Frankfurt. So, looking forward to that partnership kind of taking hold next week. But
Definitely.
again, we're here to talk men's soccer this week. Going to be a little bit of a shorter episode.
Okay.
Chris, let's talk about the state of the program so far. You're off to a hot start. Technically, you won 2 games, lost one, but something happened, and technically 0-3. So I'll let you explain.
Okay. Yes, we had a hiccup. One of my players had signed a letter of intent way back in March with another college, and when he moved back from North Carolina to Joliet, he decided that JTC was his best option. And he contacted me this summer and signed a letter of intent with us and played already 2 games. And, this came to surface that that's not possible. So the consequences are serious, and we have to forfeit the 2 games we won. And this player is ineligible for the rest of the season.
No.
So it's a bad news for him, for the team, because he was a very good player, but we have to move forward.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but at least some positives out of the season so far. Started hot. Even that loss you did suffer. I believe you said it was a penalty kick.
Yeah, penalty kick. Like a handball in the box, and then. But we played very well. We outshot them. We had 16 shots. Keeper had 10 saves of the other team. Very good goalkeeper. Kept them in the game. Our goalkeeper had also good saves, 6 saves in the game. But I felt like we really had more chances than they did. We had higher possession percentage. Well, but we lost. But I felt like we were competitive, so I'm happy with that.
What have I always heard coaches say? Sometimes the ball just didn't bounce your way.
Yep, exactly.
Again, though, a lot of positives early in the season. You started strong. What are you kind of seeing from this team that has you kind of optimistic about the outlook moving further into the season?
I like the strength of this team, the skill level overall. I think I have a deep bench this year to choose from, and their commitment, to winning, how their serious approach, to practices and the games, and that's very positive. All the signals are positive. So, I think we're going to be competitive this year again.
Yeah. How is the team kind of working together out in the field? Because I know you have a lot of new faces to the team, a lot of international student athletes. So how are they building chemistry and kind of, gelling out on the pitch?
Well, I also try to remind them to, interact among themselves all the time, not just have their little internationals, together and the local kids. And we do drills, and I try to mix them up too. So they do things, with different players every time.
Yeah.
Overall, I'm very optimistic. I think they're all nice, good-natured kids, and they really take this seriously, and they want to win. They all want to win.
How are the freshmen kind of adjusting to, college soccer compared to high school soccer, and then also kind of similar question for the international students. How are they just kind of adjusting to life in the States?
Well, the local kids, some come directly out of high school, but I also have others that graduated like 2 years ago, for example, and they decided to come to JGC this year to play soccer. And I feel like they're doing well. I also have one. He's a transfer from Aurora University, and but he's coming here with one of his former teammates from Joliet West, so they know each other. And the internationals are adapting really well. They love our facilities. I mean, they live right here on campus, and they're adapting really well. I mean, so far. I mean, if they have any concern, they come and talk to me.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're integrating and adapting really well.
What are some strengths you're seeing out on the field during game action? Anything, maybe the way, yeah, it could be as simple as the way one of your players passes the ball or how they're taking their shots, the way your goalkeeper is kind of blocking, What are some positives you're seeing out there?
I mean, I see every day, their soccer level, their skill level, so I'm discovering all their abilities, progressively, and I've been impressed with the skill level of some of these players. I mean, local kids, international kids. I think they're well trained, they're highly skilled, and it could be how they move the ball, their how they dribble, how quick they are. So they all have a lot of good skills.
Then, kind of, last year this team had a lot of success, but a lot of new faces this year. How are your opponents kind of adjusting to, what Wolf soccer is in 2025?
Well, I mean, the opponents are now, they approach us understanding, the strength that we have, and so, it's they know it's going to be a competitive match,
Yeah.
even though we're one of the only two D3s in our region. They know we earned a lot of respect, last year by beating a lot of the D2s and D1 programs,
Yeah.
and going to national. So yeah.
How does that competition level, competing against the D1s, the D2s, prepare this team, just for D3 play, but also, that national tournament, the playoffs at the end of the year?
I mean, for us is a very good competition, and that really prepares us. If we're going to qualify for national, how we perform in our region can determine really, the outcome going into the playoffs, because we're playing very, very competitive teams. And so obviously our playoff is different because we have fewer D3s, even in the district, but it prepares us very well,
Yeah.
and that's going to determine at the end, where we stand and the chances we have moving forward.
Right. Kind of bouncing back to the beginning of our conversation here, but the two forfeits, unfortunate. How do you kind of keep this team motivated? You won those two games, but because of the ineligible player, you lose those two wins, so you're technically 0-3. How do you get the team motivated? This is coming out Friday. You have a game in Wisconsin. How do you get them motivated to get back into the win column?
I think now, the shock, of losing, Tavares, has to pass, and now we process it, we accept it, and now we have to turn around. This, like I said, instead of 2-1, 2-1, we're 0-3, and I think that starting tomorrow is when our season begins.
Yeah.
Our season begins next, tomorrow.
Yeah. How are you feeling, I guess, from a sense of optimism towards the season? So kind of moving forward, because again, success a lot early on. You've outscored your opponents quite a bit, other than that one loss. Do you feel you have a good outlook on the rest of the season?
I feel so. I mean, the loss of Tavares is big. Like I said, he was a starter. He's fastest guy we had on our team. But I still feel that we have the strength to compete all the way. Definitely.
Cool. Well, Chris, I know you've got to get back out to practice. I stole you for, the
No,
re-recording
sure.
here. But I appreciate you taking the
Mhm.
time. We got a short episode this week,
Mhm.
but good luck. We'll
Thank you.
have you on again in a couple of weeks, and maybe off campus at a coffee shop.
Definitely. Well, thank you, David, for inviting me.
And yeah, we'll be back next week for more Coffee with the Wolves.